What's up, guys? It's SilverFox back here with Path of Exile 2. We got a build video ready for you guys. I've been working on this build for 60, almost 70 days, live streaming every moment of it. So if you guys have been following along, that's awesome. If you haven't, welcome to my channel. If you're here from Path of Exile 1, welcome back, guys. How you been? We're gonna go over what I set up with this build. It was a cold Crit CI build in inception of just the thought of the build was going to be cold Crit CI. Regardless of what happens, that was the plan. And we were able to make it work, eventually using Eye of Winter as our main skill. But you can use any cold skill that has is spammable. Any cold skill with a decent cast time works for this build. Alright, let's go over the skill gems. So starting off with our wands, we have Power Siphon here. It has to be used on your second, your backup wand. For mobility, Soul Drain, and Profusion. We'll use those charges later. I use on the second, or the weapon swap so that you can teleport. So if you go to use it, you can teleport after switching. And then Elemental Storm, which comes from our Ascendancy. We have Controlled Destruction, Magnified Effect, Bludgeon, Blind, and Fire Mastery. So it's kind of this there to keep the guys off us. It also does a ton of damage, but it usually just keeps the guys back away from us and creates a lot of disruption in the field. Eye of Winter, this is our main skill, the main support gem. This entire build goes around Energy Barrier. This is how we do our heal. You want to get stunned as much as possible, but you want stun recovery as fast as possible, and that's why there's only one unique you have to have for this build, and we'll go over that in a bit. But this is the most important skill. Generally, you can switch out Eye of Winter with any spammable cold skill with this build. Now, I just found Eye of Winter to be the best of the bunch. Arcane Tempo, so more cast speed. We got super critical here because it's Eye of Winter. We've been trying this lately. Normally we have Inspiration here, but I moved that down to Hypothermia. Generally speaking, you want Inspiration because it's going to be very expensive. I just put that on last, so I guess I can move that over. This is the least important one. Then we have Chain. Chain normalizes out the damage, makes it a lot better. I've been trying Ricochet with Chain. It seems really good. Yeah, so that's where we're at with this, our main attack. Frostbomb, I think, is the best skill in cold, just in general. I don't use it as much as I once did, but while leveling and stuff, man, this is a great skill. Inevitable Critical, since you don't use it that much. We got Exposure, increased by 30%, strip away. Fast Forward, so it takes less time to go off. Biting Frost because, well, might as well get more damage out of it instead of freeze buildup. And Momentum. So just move after you use it and it does a ton more damage. Cold Snap used to be really important. Now I just use it to break freezes. If for some reason the Frostbomb doesn't break it and it's still frozen, I use the Cold Snap. So we have potential here, so that this is what you do with your power charges. It allows more crit off of it. Actually, this is more important. This is like the least important thing. More elemental damage, but cannot affect elemental ailments. It's already going to break the freeze anyway, so there's no real bonus to not taking the 25% more damage. 50% more increased crit against immobilized enemies. They're always going to be immobilized. Mana Flare on crit is just something else I like on it. Unleash is really good because it spreads, so like if there's 3 or 4 guys frozen, or 2 or 3 guys frozen, it can pop all of them at once. And then, yeah, potential. Sorry, I moved those around. Frost Wall, I'm putting them in order, by the way, of most important, so if you've got a 3-link or 4-link, you can kind of prioritize. Frost Wall is your main boss killer. It's where most of your damage from the boss comes from, besides cast on freeze. So Frostwall is super important to get leveled as quick as possible. So Eye of Winter, Frostwall, and cast on freeze are your 3 most important skills. Concentrated Effect for the extra damage. Penetration, Cold Penetration. You got Cold Mastery and Cold Exposure. I have all 3 on this. Before I was running Cold Exposure on my Eye of Winter, so that's another option if you want to. But it's super good here. And then Icicle, so they have less life, so they pop faster. Cast on Freeze. This is your bread and butter for clearing out rares. Like usually most rares are gonna just die every time a cast on freeze happens, and they happen on every rare basically. It drops a comment on them. You want to make sure this is high level as possible. Nothing else really matters. I mean, quality, yeah. Mine's actually, I should get a higher level comment, by the way. Energy retention, so you can use it more often. You got impetus, so you can also get more energy to use it more often. Spell echo, drops 2 of them on it, and considered casting. There's really no cast speed, so you might as well do 40% more damage. On blink, I just recently put on the cooldown recovery I've always had, but I put wind wave on here because we get stunned so often that it's probably worth it. I just threw it on to test, so you can ignore that really, but see if it works for you. Arctic armor, super important actually. When you're running around, this is how we use our spirit. Arctic armor allows you to run towards guys instead of away from them, dude. You want to run towards them, and they'll trigger a lot of cast on freeze just from your Arctic armor. And to do that better, we have freeze duration, we have crit chance on full life, and more freeze buildup. These two being, I think, the more important ones. Actually, freeze buildup being the most important. And then mana regeneration. So yeah, actually, let me move those around. All right. So, and then hypothermia we use on boss fights, or if there's tough to kill guys, you know, drop it on the ground. Or if you're doing like rituals and whatnot, you want to throw a hypothermia. Anywhere you're going to be staying in an area for a long period of time, drop the hypothermia on the ground. And Curse Ground, Ritualistic Curse, Expanse, Persistence, and Inspiration. Inspiration because it was very expensive. Now it doesn't really cost anything. It'll last longer than the timer, so you don't have to worry about any of the things like hold you back, see? So you'll always have one down. So that's why I don't mind adding some seconds to it. So now that we went over skill gems, we'll go over the passive tree. I think this is important to get out of the way. So our ascendancy is Stormweaver. And the most important things here are to get your Tempest Caller and your Rain Dancer. And then get your Constant Gale and your Force of Will. And the main reason we want Force of Will and Constant Gale is Arcane Surge. Getting it from a support gem is less efficient than just grabbing it here. I mean, sort of. And the bonuses for your cast speed are useful, but the mana regen's the big reason. If we look at our mana regen, we have 754. That's barely enough to keep up with the comments. You see, as I'm casting, I can run out of mana based on my supports here. So before you get it that high, you're going to have to use Inspiration up here. You're going to have to use other options that don't take up so much mana. Yeah, so you want to make sure you get that. Going up our tree, we went up the Energy Shield side. So I grab Energy Shield, more Max Energy Shield, Pure Energy, a Delay, Rapid Recharge, more Delay, Recharge, Faster Start, I'm sorry, Delay, whatever. Mana Blessing. Then you want to go up, grab your nodes over here, grab your crit when you get a chance. Head on over, sorry, Critical Overload, that's the name of that one. And then you want to grab more Energy Shield here. Insightfulness. This is actually the one little node I take out depending on what I'm running. So like, you can skip past this when you're leveling for sure. Critical Exploit's nice, but it's like bonus damage. You want to go up here and grab your Echoing Frost, Echoing Flames, Echoing Thunder. And you like, okay, we're cold build, so what gives? We're gonna trigger it off a try extra damage wand. That's very important too. So then you want to grab Crashing Wave. You grab the crit stuff at the end, I would say, but moment of truth here. You want to grab you reduce mana cost. So if you're leveling, you want to grab all this crit stuff at the very end, I would imagine. True Strike, critical damage bonus, Deadly Force, and for the jugular, and then I grab my my Jewel up here. Now I do grab it through this node instead of this node because you get 30% critical damage bonus this way. So if you're wondering why I wasted a skill point, that's why. Triggered spell damage over here in Dynamism, super good. I wasn't using this for a long time, but it is really good. So it's right there on your path, so you're good to go. Oh, I should go over the skill gems, yeah. So we got +3 to Eye of Winter here. These Prism of Beliefs are cheap. Most of the cold ones are cheap. I bought all of them just because they were so cheap. They shouldn't cost more than 2 or 3 Divine. I know that's not super cheap, but yeah, they're pretty cheap, considering the other ones are hundreds. For your Jewels, you want to grab one that says you cannot be hindered. Well, I did. And then you want to grab another one. Chaos Inoculation, super important to the build, obviously. You want to grab another one that says Corrupting Blood cannot be inflicted on you. Those are the two that you have to have. The rest of what you're looking for is pretty much max energy shield, crit chance, crit damage, spell damage, elemental damage, or cold damage. But you want to have max energy shield in all of them. It's super important. All right, let's go over here. We got Ether Flow. So while you're moving, you can regen faster, and Arcane Intensity, because you're going to have all this extra mana. Controlling Magic up here. And then these are important nodes. So like I said, skip the crit nodes, grab the cold nodes first. Damage Penetration, Glaciation right here, and then you got Endless Blizzard. You got to grab those. And then you want to go up here and grab the 1 to max elemental resistances, super good. If you can skip this, depending on how much energy shield you have. Obviously, playing hardcore, you want to grab the defensive stuff first. And this build will work in hardcore as far as I know. I haven't tested it, but I see no reason why it won't. And then you want to get Warding Fetish when you're mapping because of the curses that maps put on you. This is what you would take off. Say you were bossing, you want to take this off and you want to put it into more defense. So you grab some like 15% nodes laying around instead of this because you don't really need that then. Elemental Penetration, you want to grab that Storm Charge because you're going to be dealing with a lot of crits, so extra damage once again. And you want to grab All Natural for the resist and the elemental damage. I didn't normally have Dependable Ward, but man, is it nice having. So those are 3 points that are just great to throw in. And then you want to come down here and grab Heavy Buffer. Obviously, if Chaos Inoculated, this is the best energy shield you can get from a single node because you don't have any life anyway. So there's the whole passive tree. We can go over my current gear. Now, granted, the only gear you need is Alburn's Bastion. Everything else can be rare. You need these boots. Now, I was not using these boots for a very, very long time. Trust me, you need these boots. These boots make energy barrier useful. Without these boots, you definitely cannot play hardcore. You will die a lot. You will die. Anytime you get stun locked, you'll die. So porcupine packs and stupid stuff like that will kill you. With these boots, you should never die again. Now, I've died once since I had these boots on, but it was, I think what it was, my fire res wasn't capped because I was running some experimental gear and I was fighting a fire boss when I died. But I've only died once since I had these boots on. Obviously, Arbiter Ash can still one-shot you regardless. That's not the point. Obviously, there's bosses that can one-shot you, but mapping, you won't die with these boots on. Well, once you have your gear set up. So wand is the most important thing. I think we went over that earlier. You want to grab one with as high of extra cold damage and then fire and lightning. In that order, I would say, but you know, mine's 30 lightning and 28 fire. You just want to make sure the cold's as high as possible and it has some fire and lightning just to trigger the shock and ignite. With +5 skills, obviously, would be ideal. I like the 30 mana per enemy killed or mana per enemy killed. It helps you sustain, so keep that in mind when you're looking at these. And obviously crit chance, crit damage, good. Freezing duration's okay. I mean, you can put anything in there, but this is pretty much the ideal wand. Sorry, there's no more, but if you can grab on a Siphon Wand, it's good too. It doesn't really matter, but your back bar has to be a Siphon Wand so you can do that swap. Here's another example of a good one. This one has freeze build up and only 2 mana per enemy killed, so that's not quite as good. You want to make sure your focus has increased energy shield recharge rate. Most important thing there with +2 to spell skills to give you the most pluses possible. Everything else is optional. Obviously, getting high energy shield's great. I don't really like the res on there, but you know, I take just about anything besides the res. I don't know, but it's there. Oh, I would like crit. I'd like crit instead of res on that one eventually, but oh well. Back bar, it doesn't really matter too much anymore, but there was a time where it hurt you when you swapped, so I kind of kept some with a high energy shield on the back bar as well. Yeah, but energy shield recharge rate is the best thing you can get on this. And then I did corrupt it and got faster start of energy shield recharge. You know, if you can get that, get it, because I mean, anything with energy shield is great. You're like a tank. You're like a mobile tank. You'll see as we get into it. Your helm, you want to get mana, rarity, crit, res, and as much energy shield as you can out of that, ideally. Your amulet, mine's not ideal, but you want +3. You want attributes. You want all res, if possible. You want percentage mana. You want max energy shield, and what was the other thing I wanted on it? I'm losing my mind. I don't even know, man. Maybe flat mana as well would be good, but I feel like there's... Oh, spell damage or flat mana would be good there. Yeah. Any base will work, but I got a mana regeneration base. You want to put Heartbreaking is the most efficient way I found to increase damage with Eye of Winter particularly. So if you're using other skills, it might not be Heartbreaking for your allocation. But yeah, that's what I'd use there. For body armors, you want to look for reduced ignite duration. I know it sounds stupid, but it helps with burning ground maps severely. It really helps with it. You want this for sure, and then you just want resist and as high of energy shield as possible. Also, ultra robes are better because they're the faster start of energy shield. You can go with Hexer or the mana regen one if you need it to, but you'd want to make sure that you have ignite duration and as much res as possible. Intelligence is okay too, and the highest energy shield you can get there basically. For rings, this is almost a perfect ring for this build particularly. Cold, right? Because you're cold. And you want the rolls to be as high as possible for the cold damage. Especially if you're running Ingenuity. If you're not running Ingenuity yet, you're before your first 25 Divines or whatever. Because once you get 25 Divines, you should buy Ingenuity. It's the best belt in the game. Rares just don't compete. You're gonna want cold damage as high as possible. So obviously this one's above that, but you want cold damage mana, rarity, elemental resist, and then 2 resist flat. You know, matching the base. So if it's a fire resist ring, you want fire, but the problem with that is then you can't get the bonus 6% to cold damage, which ends up being 12% with the good Ingenuity. So you definitely want that. Dream Fragments is the dream ring because you can't be chilled or frozen. Before you grab Dream Fragments though, if you don't have Dream Fragments, which it's very expensive, I don't know, people love it so much because the mana, I guess, you want to grab these nodes right here called Icebreaker. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. This will prevent you from getting frozen so you can stay alive. I used Icebreaker for a very long time until I got my Dream Fragments. So don't worry if you don't have Dream Fragments. You don't need it. You do need Icebreaker though. For gloves, you want to grab as much energy shield as possible with mana, rarity, critical damage bonus, and a resist, or maybe more than 1 resist. So you pick the priority on that, but that's what you want on them. I already told you, went over the belt. Ingenuity is easily the best belt. Mine here is retardedly good. My buddy farmed this, and I'm still paying him back for it. But yeah, any Ingenuity would be good. I'll tell you a trick though. You can get an Ingenuity that's like 25 Divine that has a good corruption, and I mean a really good corruption. 25% increased maximum energy shield. Yeah, this is the corruption I'd be looking for. It's not quite 80, but anything over 75 with this corruption's almost better, because if I swap it on, I lose some stuff, but look how much energy shield I gain. You know, I gain 600 energy shield with that. So you lose a little bit of your other stuff, but you gain a lot of defense. So yeah, if you're on a tighter budget for sure, obviously you don't need a 96% at all. Oberon's Bastion, you just want to get one with the highest stun recovery as possible. And if you're having trouble with shock, you want to get shock as high as possible. I mean, armor and evasion do help a little bit. As you can see here, I have 8% armor. If you get a lower one, you have 7 or 6% damage reduction. You can't hit the evasion number without getting 1,000 evasion, and you're not going to hit that without putting on a couple rings or something else with evasion. So there is possibility to do evasion and armor on this build. The only way I can think of reasonably doing it though would be to put on like this armor, something like this, and then it could work because your evasion would be 600, and you'd be very close with that armor and that. If you put evasion on your ring instead of rarity, you could hit it for sure. So if you want evasion and armor to be even more tanky, like say you're playing hardcore, that's an option there. For flask, it doesn't matter what your life flask is at all. Charms, I use a golden charm, but until then you can use one of those igniting charms. Staunching charms are really good. You just want duration and you want a chance to gain a charge when you kill an enemy. Melting Maelstrom is by far the best mana flask in the game for this build, period. Just get it when you can. Before you have it, you just want it as high of mana roll as you can get. So usually most mana is gained one, you use it on low mana. But yeah, it's worth the 5 divine or whatever it is to get one of these right now. It's so good. It's a quality of life improvement exponential quality of life improvement once you get one of these. You'll never have mana problems again if you have them before that. So there's the build, I think. I mean, I would say in a nutshell, but I think we covered everything. If you guys want to see me playing with this build, I am always live on YouTube and now Twitch whenever I'm playing. I might be doing no commentary because I got 5 kids here, so yeah, I mean, if I'm no commentary, I'll type to you when I get a chance. I AFK a lot, but I'm here. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to playing with you guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed the build. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, or come and see me live and just ask any questions about build, any ways to improve it. Please let me know. I'd love it. And just let me know if there's a way you can improve the build. Anything you can do to help. I recently just had a guy come in and tell me some ideas with the ricochet and the super critical ideas came from a viewer. So yeah, if you guys have ideas how I can make it better, let me know. But it just blasts through any map you want. I mean, it just tears through the game. So like, there's not. I've only done Arbiter Ash to tier 2. Boss fights, you would ideally swap out a few things for sure. But yeah, I mean, it handles bosses. It handles everything that you can throw at it. Yeah, I just do all my endgame content as I find it. So I'm a little low on. I gotta get some more simulacrums and freaking. I can't think right now. The other things, breach splinters. Where the hell are they? Oh, there. Yeah, I'm on tier 3. This will be tier 3 on the breach when I get there. But yeah, I just do it as it comes. I didn't look anything up. I did all this just to playing the game and the trade site. So if there's anything I missed, please let me know. You guys take care, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.